part of our lives. That is why TED gives it a special place. Among all the sources of entertainment, movies are my favorite. Is it not the same for all of you? Movies are not your favorite? It is. How many Vijay Devarkonda fans do I have here? I can see a few raise of hands. Power star Pawan Kalyan? Oh, very bad. While all these names bring an image to your minds, there are some really important people who make it possible for you to have that experience in those theaters that are filled with hoots and screams of fans. We have someone really special representing this side of the cinema for us today. This brings me to introduce the second speaker of our event, Ms. Janvi Tarang. Ms. Janvi is a young trailblazing entrepreneur with a dream to make meaningful cinema. She works in a diverse range of industries, which include film production, marketing, exhibition, as well as food and beverages management. She holds a MSc in business with marketing from Warwick Business School. She has carved a path for herself after working on the marketing and release of over 15 films in various languages. She has been recognized by Women's Entrepreneur India as a part of their endorses creativity that is rooted in impact. Her unique marketing strategies have positioned AMB Cinemas as not just a theater, but an entertainment market disruptor, winning many national level awards. Currently, she is working on multiple film productions, including a film with Dhanush and Shekhar Kamala sir. Along with this, she is working on multiple smaller projects that aim at providing opportunities to newcomer artists. May I have a big round of applause to our speaker too, Mrs. Janvi Narang.
Hi, I'm gonna start with an exercise. Close your eyes and imagine this. You walk into a cinema hall, you're looking for your seat. The light starts to dim, the smell of popcorn fills the air, and the projector flickers to life. Suddenly, there's life on your screen. For the next 2 hours in that cinema hall, you and 200 strangers are going to laugh together, you're going to cry together. And what I'm trying to say here is that such is the magic of cinema. It's an art form that has managed to captivate human imagination and push our perception of reality to boundless infinity for over a century now. So how have we endured this, and how have we made it to becoming such an integral part of human experiences for so long? Because we know life cycles of products end very fast. Fads come, fads go, trends die. That's what I'm here to talk to you about today. My talk is all about the idea that cinema is infinity. Cinema is forever. And the reason I think this, I will take you back with a short story for that. It's a story about my grandfather, who was my guru, my guide, my mentor. He had over 55 years of experience in the cinema industry. And the way this started for him was because he couldn't complete his education. He was born during partition, so he couldn't complete his education. He looked for knowledge everywhere else. And the way he found best to capture knowledge was by listening to people's experiences and stories. So he spent a lot of his time collating people's stories, experiences, because he believed that people have infinite experiences in life. As a result, they have infinity stories to tell. And those stories need to be shared with the entire world so we can have that collected human experience and take that forward in our lives. With that philosophy, he started a company that we as third generation are trying to upkeep. The philosophy goes so deep into our company that our company logo even is infinity circles. The idea he believed in, again, was that cinema is infinity because it's the only communal way of storytelling that reaches a very, very vast audience. You don't need any prior experience to watch it. You don't need to know how to read, write, nothing. It's the most common way that you reach a mass audience and create a collective human experience that leaves a mark on your soul, ultimately. So with this philosophy is how we've gone forward as a company. And that's the story I'm going to share with you today. We faced a lot of challenges. We've had a lot of cynicism, a lot of doubt. And I think the most important question that people ask me, especially today post-COVID, is, oh, how are the doors of your theaters open? How are you managing? What about OTT? Are people coming back? People don't like watching movies anymore, do they? And I just laughed to that because we've endured it all. And the way we've done that, the most important way we've done that is by reinvention. We focused on reinventing, and we've done that time and time again. In the 2000s, in the early 2000s, color TVs were allowed to be imported into India as of the LPG reforms in 1990s. Post that, people started doubting the survivability of theaters. Till then, we only had single-screen cinemas with small projection screens and so on. My father took this bold decision where he adopted single screens in Hyderabad and converted them into world-class multiplexes. It was a very dangerous decision at the time, and we didn't know if it would pan out, but here we are, it panned out. That was my first tryst with the idea of reinvention. After that, we fast forward to the 2020 COVID pandemic. Doors were shut for 2 years. There was nothing we could do. Other industries had some small openings, but we had none. So again, the same cynicism came in. What are we going to do now? But the idea was simple, right? It was just about reinventing again. And I believe reinventing is the biggest part of the philosophy of reaching infinity. Another thing my granddad always said was that if you chase knowledge, which is infinite, it's limitless but endless potential, you will tap your own infinity. So search for your infinity and don't stop doing that. That's what we did when this happened as well. The way we tapped our infinity here was with a lot of technological innovation, definitely. But it was really important to note that anybody with a lot of disposable capital, our competitors with far more properties and larger chains, could also tap that technological innovation. So it wasn't really going to set us apart. So what do you do apart from that? We did two things. One was tactical management, which was using brand strategy in a different way that other people didn't know how to do. Or they had the access to, but they didn't do it that way. It was again taking a bold step where in 2018 we started a cinema with Mahesh Babu. He's a superstar here. And while people have otherwise used celebrities for ad campaigns and on their posters and so on, we harness that brand value in a more permanent and long-term vision. It was a big gamble, and it worked out. Although we started in 2018, COVID pandemic shut us down for 2 years, and the OTT challenge came in. The way we went across this was by tactical innovation and strategic management in our strategy of communicating with our audience. While everybody was using the normal COVID SOPs and managing their theaters and putting out posters that, oh, you know, we have sanitization, and everybody did that, even grocery stores did that. What's different? How do you bring the people back to enjoy that art form that changes lives? That was the challenge. And the way we did that was with experiential campaigns. And I think that was really important in the sense that we were groundbreaking and revolutionizing our industry, in our regional space at least, doing things that other people weren't doing. And that is why I proudly can say today that post-COVID, AMB Cinemas is the highest grossing cinema in India, beating all its competitors nationally. And the reason we could achieve that was because we went beyond thinking of just technological specifications. All theaters have nowadays, 4K and the most state-of-the-art theater management systems and laser projection and so on. But what do you do with it? That's what everything comes down to. What do you do with the technological innovation that you have? It's about going beyond, really, and supporting your technical innovation with tactical innovation. Without that, I don't think any strategy or anything that you do is honestly worth it. Apart from that, the second challenge we faced definitely was OTT. So I think even today when we were talking with the other panelists, the same question came up. What do you think about OTT? And it's a question I've been answering since 2020. I don't think it's a threat, and I would lie if I was saying I wasn't threatened by it initially. Of course, it was dangerous because it came in, theaters were shut. What would we do? You know, OTT was churning out content on a very, very fast basis initially, but it served us really well to take it as more of an opportunity instead of a threat or a challenge. And I think that's really a big part of managerial innovation. When you look at your threats and convert them into opportunities is when you find that successful infinity of yours. You can tap your infinity. And the way we saw it was that OTT did some great services to us as exhibitors. Number one, it opened the audience's mind. It made them more open-minded and exposed them to a world of cinema, which people didn't have access to before as easily. What that served to do was, putting it very simply, give us an extra revenue stream. Because pre-COVID, the kind of films that we could stream in our theaters were very limited to regional films, at most national language films. But funnily enough, last few months, we've been streaming Japanese films, Korean films, anime films, and they've been running for over 3 weeks in our theaters. That even beats some of the regional language films. So it really opened up new avenues to us to be able to explore. And if we accepted that, that's the only way we were able to reach these feats of national accolades for our cinemas. Another very important thing that I've noted is that post-COVID, we've understood that while technological prowess in films is very important, people often miss the human story. When you go to watch a film, you want to come out with that collected human experience where you feel something. A film that elicits a response from you, an emotional response. And it's very important to note that the Indian audience especially lately has become a lot more open-minded to this and a lot more sensitive to the different kind of feelings that cinema can elicit. Another thing we owe to OTT very honestly, because they're used to different kinds of content, not the usual masala films. And that is an opportunity that we've decided to tap as well. Tapping these opportunities, like I said, helps us tap our infinity. And that's what we did. You've got your movies where people don't want to watch, films that are made by computers anymore. You don't just want the green screen, the VFX and the CGI. You want something beyond that. And there are some great examples of films lately that have come out, such as Avatar and RRR. While they had exceptional visuals and exceptional technical specifications, they went beyond that and elicited a human response, a universal feeling that people could walk out with and feel and discuss and talk about it, a story, a cause, an experience. And that made all the difference. I come back to the point that technical innovation can take you so far, but only when you have support from the strategic side of things, the positioning of things. That's not to say that we only have the Pathans and the RRRs of the world. We've got smaller films, and Telugu film industry has been witness to that lately. We've got small budget films such as Samaja Varagamana and so on that have become sleeper hits, sudden hits. Really small budget, no VFX, no technical management, nothing, just universal stories. And that is what people want. And I come back to the point that stories are infinite. There is an infinity in stories. This is something we've seen time and time again because there are multiple perceptions of one story and there are infinite number of experiences to explain that story. And the way you understand each story is so personal to each person that there are an infinite number of perceptions to it. The point that I'm trying to make here is that the only way that we go beyond innovation, especially in the industry of cinema, is when we start recognizing that we need to transcend the limits of innovation. Yes, definitely there are limits that technological innovation places on us. We need to transcend that and tap into or embrace the infinity of the shared human experiences. Because that's what cinema is all about. You can watch a film at home, a comedy film, and laugh alone in your room, but that's just not going to cut it for you. It's only when the 200 other strangers laugh with you that you feel something. And we need to recognize that as custodians of cinema, that this is important and content is important, and our infinity can only be tapped if we step out of our comfort zones of making technically stunning films which don't have anything otherwise. A lot of examples I can take, but I'd rather not. So the next time that you walk into that dark theater, find your seat, the popcorn smells in the air, I want you to remember that you're not just watching a movie, but you're embarking on a journey to cinematic infinity. And cinema is forever. Thank you.